Good evening, everyone. My name is Samantha. I'm 19 and I'm in 11th grade. You might think that this girl is a little old for her grade level. Well, today I want to start with my own story first. When I was 14, I was diagnosed with depressive disorder. By the time I was an innocent little girl who struggled with interpersonal relationships and schoolworks. I was disappointed, I was overwhelmed. Finally, I locked myself up in my room and I refused to go to school. By the time I got the diagnosis, my feeling was very complicated. Strangely, the strongest one was relaxation. The diagnosis was like a key. It explains my long-term confusion and struggle. It gives them an official name. With the name, everyone gets to understand me. I held the key tightly. I believe that it proves that I did not do anything wrong. I was just sick. And all I need to do was taking pills as my doctor have instructed. So, I took my medicine and I just waited for recovery. Day after day, nothing changed when I woke up every morning. My struggle and confusion was always there. They never leave me. I tried to go back to school, but it did not turn well. Every time I was not doing my homework, every time I was not taking responsibility as a student, I just blamed depressive disorder. I stayed in where I was without taking any action. I pity myself. I labeled myself as a patient who cannot deal with life. But that's not true. After 2 years, I realized that perhaps my symptoms have been alleviated by the medicine. My mindset is still in a state of illness. And this cannot be cured by medicine. I need to do something more to fix myself. After this realization, I start to think, is this my own dilemma, or is it something that others in my age may encounter? When I locked myself up, I spent a lot of time on social media and internet. If you look at our online environment now, you will see that many people are identifying themselves as mood disorder, depressive disorder, or anxiety disorder. According to a research from the University of Manchester, there's an exponential growth in the users of social medias, and more people are expressing their thoughts and feelings on platforms such as Rednote or TikTok. On those platforms, I saw people who are seeking for ways out of their difficult position. On the other hand, there are others who hide behind the label of illness and refuse to go back to normal life, declaring that they are not able to do that, just like what I did. I realized that there are some ways that we can help ourselves. I mean, those hiding, they come with prices. That is, the halt of improvement. When we keep talking about negative syndromes or illness, we unconsciously activate self-fulfilling prophecy. That is, one's expectation on themselves can eventually turn into actions that is confirming the expectation. In other words, hiding behind the labels can eventually turn a temporary label into an unchangeable personal characteristic. We change from a fluid process with all the possibilities of growth to a rigid noun that is defined by the label. We change from a subject to an object. And our room for growth is compressed. So, should we get rid of all the labels? I'll say we don't have to. There's nothing wrong with labeling itself as a cognitive tool. The key is, how do we use it? Instead of using labels to define ourselves, we can use labels to better understand our current situation and solve the problems. I spent years to change my mindset from the former to the latter. Here, I want to share a subtle but effective conversion that I did to my mind. It helped me to be standing here, sharing my story with you, instead of just hiding in my room. What I did was I changed those I am sentence patterns to I'm experiencing. For example, instead of saying I am an anxious person, we can say I'm experiencing anxiety at the moment. The former describes the essence of a person, while the latter talks about a temporary state of mind. It leaves room for improvement. Our goal is never to become a perfectly diagnosed specimen, but to become a person that can be chaotic sometimes, but try its best to maintain in the midst life process overall. When we are facing difficulties and psychological illnesses, we do need to take pills if our doctor have instructed we to do so. What's more is that we need to build a ship by our own to get through all the bad wind and rains. And finally, we'll get to sail into a wider, a freer sea. I hope that everyone can enjoy their life journey. Thanks.